He tells them, ooh, love, no one's ever gonna hurt you, love. I'm gonna give you all of my love. Nobody matters like you.
Hey guys, Mosa here, and today I'm bringing you the signing of Eric Fisher. Now, without a further ado, let's get started. Now, Eric Fisher has just signed with the Indianapolis Colts a 1-year, $9.4 million deal. Now, honestly, in my opinion, this is a very good move by the Indianapolis Colts, getting Carson Wentz a very good blindside blocker for him. But is this the best offensive tackle they could have gotten? Honestly, I think so. But honestly, I think that Eric Fisher has been a decent, or honestly even great offensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, protecting both Patrick Mahomes and Alex Smith in the 8 years he played for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, in 2013, that was when he was drafted to the Kansas City Chiefs out of Central Michigan with the first overall pick. And his rookie year was not a very good one, as he had a 57.8 grade by Pro Football Focus, 792 snaps, 6 penalties, and 7 sacks allowed. Now, to be honest, this wasn't a great year, and honestly, it was his worst year as a Kansas City Chief, and honestly, I think that he only improved afterwards. He did have a few down seasons, but honestly, he still had some very good seasons as well. Now, in 2014, he honestly improved, having a 67.2 grade by Pro Football Focus, 1,012 snaps, 9 penalties, and 7 sacks allowed. Now, he improved, definitely. But also, it wasn't a good year when it came to penalties. But still, regardless of that, he was decent, but in my opinion, was not number 1 overall pick worthy. But honestly, that's what he needs to improve on, and he does improve on. He does become a very good left tackle and a very good blindside blocker for both Patrick Mahomes and Alex Smith. Now, in 2015, he improved once again, having a 71.8 grade by Pro Football Focus, 833 snaps, 5 penalties, and 4 sacks. He definitely improved, but there's also something of worth. This was the year that the Denver Broncos, their same division rivals, who not only got to the playoffs as division champions, but also ended up winning the Super Bowl on Peyton Manning's final game. But still, regardless of that, they did pretty decent in 2015. But honestly, it still wasn't good enough to be number 1 overall pick worthy for Eric Fisher. I honestly think that he could have done a lot better, but in hindsight, honestly, you gotta understand that there are very tough teams at this time for the Kansas City Chiefs. You got the Oakland Raiders having Derek Carr and that offense, and then you got on Denver, you got Peyton Manning in that offense, and you got Phillip Rivers and that offense. Of course, their defenses are different, but honestly, the defense of the Denver Broncos was just insane that year. And honestly, I think that even though he could have done a lot better, it still was decent. Now, in 2016, that's when the Kansas City Chiefs become a even better team. Better yet, this is the start of the offense that they had in 2019 that won the Super Bowl, in 2020 that went back to the Super Bowl. This is where the team actually started, in my opinion. Getting some better defenders, getting some better offensive players. When they had, of course, Kareem Hunt wasn't part of that team when they won the Super Bowl or went back to the Super Bowl, but they had guys like Tyreek Hill there as well, and all these guys, and of course, not yet, but Patrick Mahomes being the one drafted next year. But this year, they honestly did well, even though the Raiders, I believe, won the division. Either that or they at least got to the wild card. One of the two. I don't remember. I think it was either the Chiefs or the Raiders that won the division. But the Pro Football grade for Eric Fisher was 77.3. And he had 1,022 snaps, 10 penalties, and 6 sacks allowed. Honestly, I think that year, it was pretty good for them. It was pretty good. They were succeeding, but of course, they lost in the playoffs. But in the end, it's still, honestly, they still could have done a lot better. Now, in 2017, this was the year that they drafted Patrick Mahomes, and Alex Smith was basically playing his last season with the Kansas City Chiefs, but as a mentor. But this year, honestly, it was a very, very bad regression for the offensive tackle Eric Fisher, as he had a 69.1 grade by Pro Football Focus, had only 961 snaps, 5 penalties, and 4 sacks. Honestly, pretty decent, maybe, but honestly, for a number 1 overall pick, he definitely should have put more work into it. But I understand that not every offensive lineman picked in the first round or even first overall will be insanely good. But honestly, I think that this year was a learning point for Eric Fisher, because the next year he had a quarterback who could run. Now, in 2018, he again, as we all know, Patrick Mahomes was the starter and won the league's MVP that year. But his Pro Football grade was only 73.4 for his offensive tackle, the guy protecting his blind side. And he had only 1,042 snaps, 7 penalties, and 4 sacks allowed. But that was good enough to allow him to be selected to the 2018 Pro Bowl. And honestly, I think that it was well deserved. It was well deserved. Honestly, offensive linemen, they're hard to analyze. But they're not that hard to analyze because, of course, there are some good offensive linemen. There are some that allow too many sacks. But now is how Eric Fisher becomes one of the dominant forces in that offensive line that honestly allowed the Kansas City Chiefs to go to 2 Super Bowls and win 1. Now, in 2019, that was the year that they first went to the Super Bowl. And honestly, this was the year that he could have been a lot better than what he was, as Pro Football Focus honestly graded him at 64.5. And then had, of course, he didn't play that much. 467 snaps, 2 penalties, and 1 sack. Honestly, I could say time away from the field is what really put him down there. But still, you still played in the greatest game of them all. Still ended up helping your team win the Super Bowl. I honestly think that even though his grade is low, he was still one of the most dominant tackles in the NFL in 2019. Now we get on to his final year with the Kansas City Chiefs, where he ended up going to his second Pro Bowl in his career and to his second Super Bowl in his entire career in back-to-back years. But this time, he came up short, as honestly, that offensive line of the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 55 was just horrendous. I mean, Patrick Mahomes just couldn't do anything, while Brady was just boom, dump, 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 because that's how good his offensive line. He had so much time that he could find Antonio Brown, find Gronkowski, find Evans, find all these other receivers, find his running back. Leonard Fournette got a touchdown as well. Honestly, that offensive line was so good, it outshined the entirety of the offensive line of the Kansas City Chiefs, both this year and last year. Honestly, I do believe that the Buccaneers defense was outshining the one of 2019 for the Kansas City Chiefs. He had an 80 grade by Pro Football Focus, 1,049 snaps, 3 penalties, and 3 sacks. In a Pro Bowl year, that was honestly very good. But honestly, it was a year where honestly he was on the bench due to the fact of injury. So honestly, I don't think he even played in the Super Bowl due to injury. But it's still something you need to see, because you can't honestly think you can win a football game without an offensive line. And the Super Bowl between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Kansas City Chiefs proved it. Now, in 2021, the Indianapolis Colts get a very good blindside blocker for Carson Wentz. Honestly, I could say you could have saved a bit more money with Eric Fisher. Maybe give him a bit less money, or even a year and less money. I don't think that, of course, you pay him like 8 million, 9.1, something like that a year. But you honestly keep a bit more money doing that. I honestly think they could have saved more money, but still, it's a very good deal, regardless. But it's a prove-it deal for Eric Fisher if he still got it. He's a 6'7", 315-pound offensive tackle. And honestly, he could be the best offensive tackle for the Indianapolis Colts if he keeps on doing what he does on the field that he did in Kansas City. Now, that was it for this video. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Tweet me any video ideas. Also, tell me down in the comments below, what do you think about this signing? Who do you think won? Did you think the Kansas City Chiefs won by releasing him? Did you think the Colts won by signing him? Or do you think Eric Fisher won by getting signed by a team with Carson Wentz? Tell me down in the comments below. Now, like this video if you liked it, subscribe and hit the notification if you want more videos, and I'll see you guys next time.